Oh. The transfer guy. I'm okay with being the transfer guy. Also, hello, YouTube. This is going to be officially part 2, unless the stream dies again, but you know. Life sucks right now. But the scrolling message already mentions that, so I don't need to continue. I don't need to say anything more, really. Good night to you, Blood. So here's Snowrun's Hamlet. Getting back to the musical discussion I was trying to do. We actually already had a song for this in Pokerroll, but this one was better. So we're gonna use this one. It's a good song. I don't feel too positive, but singing does help a bit. There we go. You know what I kind of feel like doing? I kind of feel like going to Shoppers Drug Mart. It's a grocery store not too far away. And just getting a bunch of fucking snacks. Because apparently snacks are cheaper there. That's what Aragon said. And if I want to get random junk food, that's probably the best place to do it. He said that the other day, so I was thinking about it. Like, I just want to go over there and just buy all the fucking snacks. Anyways, this song that people were interested about. Selena, I hope you're still here. So, this is Zacian and he created his name. Zamazenta. Zacian and Zamazenta's theme, battle theme for a Pokerroll game. They will be on the Mist Continent. Remember what I was saying about the Mist Continent having a medieval sort of flair? Well, of course they would be there. This is a really good song. What do you guys think? Does this fit the Sword and Shield Doggo? I feel like it does. I won't spoil anything beyond what I just said, but yeah. Yeah, so the Mist Continent will have its own story for our game, and it will involve the Sword and Shield Doggo. Not only that, actually, it will also involve another new Pokemon. Where is it? Yeah, this song is so perfect. It really does feel like a legendary song for a Pokemon game. In addition to, it really feels like a legendary Pokemon But also, it has the European flair as well. It's great. I really like this song. Amidst the ruins of rigid honor and frigid mists, twofold paladins await. There the sword castigates chaos, and the shield withstands its amorphous tide. Yet still, law itself may be insidiously misguided, unwilling to bend before the reason of the pure-hearted. I like that. Thank you, Car. I know you're tired, but thank you for writing that. Hello, Azzy. How are you? Not the best. We're having a really rough time and my career is having some trouble. I can't get my ISP decided to destabilize, so I'm having trouble continuing my career right now. My Twitch career because of stability of internet. We're trying our best today. Hyper, maybe you like Sword and Shield better in Poker Roll then. Yeah, I really like this song. This is a good picture, isn't it, Azzy? I think it's coming out well. What stores do you have nearby? Shoppers Drug Mart. There is a Walmart further, but I don't like walking that far. I am fat boy, it makes me tired. I'm gonna be playing Sword upon release date, assuming that the internet isn't bad so long that it would. It won't be though. We can buy the business package and. I want to download the song. By the way, speaking of Miscontinent. Our new boss on the Miscontinent will be Sir Fetchit, who's going to be insufferable but also capable. If you aren't aware, Sir Fetchits are kind of, let me find it. Oh wow, that's a good picture I just found. This is it. This is the image I was looking for. Here. Basically, Sir Fetchit is this. He'll basically be like the most fucking full of himself holy knight from a D&D campaign. But also, we're probably going to have to just stomach him, because Pangoro is going to send us to the Miscontinent to deal with some issues, probably. And Sir Fetchit is going to be our is going to be kind of our substitute boss for that continent. And he's gonna be insufferable, but we'll just have to put up with him, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And this is his theme song. I like this song a lot because it has a really, like, traditional fantasy RPG sort of feel to it, but it's also got a set of trumpets and such that, like, well, listen to the instrumentation, you'll hear some PSMD instruments. It's kind of an odd blend of traditional fantasy and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I love it. Like, if you listen to the start of the song, hear the little, what is that? Is it the background instrument, you hear it? But also the flute here. But it's it's literally the same instrument that exists in PSMD. Usually during the first part of the game, I think during the, basically during school events, I believe it played. It's the same instrument. I love it. I want the instrument pack of Mystery... Well, it's kind of hard because it's sequenced, so it's not really an instrument pack. It's not a sound font pack, unfortunately. Charm, do you remember when you planned to do viewer rival battles to the story of... Storage... What? Oh, you mean multiplayer? Can you only hear his duck quacks now? I love it. Pokemon Typing was a good song, yeah. Quack Cheryl. Well, see, Sir Fetchit is probably going to consider our party. He's gonna title us squires. I bet you anything we're gonna be squires to him. And if we talk back to him, he's probably just gonna go, "Oh, sillies, those squires and their jests." Essentially. Except for instead of "oh ho ho," it's gonna be "ah quack quack." He's not gonna take if we even basically everything's just gonna roll right off his feathers. It's gonna be impossible to really like get a rise out of him because he's too proud of himself. He's too proud of himself, so everything just rolls right off of him. It's a Pheasant joke. Oh, Pheasant. Oh my god, Pheasant. Pheasant. Oh my god, is he gonna call the random... Is he gonna call, like, random civilian Pokemon pheasants? Oh no. He might. But he might call them Oomphassants, or whatever. You know, the pheasant Pokemon. Lol, that's great. Yeah, part of me wants to... Yeah, those guys. Oomphassants. I don't know how to pronounce their name. So just like that. Pokeroll's good. I can't explain this song, but this is a song for Pokeroll as well. I'll let everybody... I'll let people theorize. Yeah, you could say a boss theme, I guess. I'll say that much. There's a reason why this is so different from the other soundtrack, by the way. Not a random decision. No, actually, I could play the tournament themes. You guys would like to hear them. Actually, yeah, the tournament stuff's been doing this. By the way, actually, for those unaware, anybody who's interested in Pokerole but isn't part of the Pokerole server, there's a dedicated Pokerole server for us. Carsters is currently accepting tournament signups if you want to have your character or team in the tournament upcoming in Pokerole. I figured I should mention that for anybody interested. If you want, basically, if you want your Pokemon included into the game. I'll play the tournament stuff then. I'll do that in just a little bit. Yeah, this song is intense, isn't it, though? Also, this part right here reminds me of a particular... This is very similar to a certain Pokemon battle song, actually, for the main series. I don't know which one, though. Yeah, like Fighting Us, yes. If you're interested, you can join the Actually, don't I have let's see, does this work? There it is. There's the Pokerole Discord group link. I thought I added that. Also, we'll get to the tournament themes in a bit. So, you know what? I think it's been stable enough. I'm going to pause that for just a second. So, Cheryl has been eagerly awaiting for me to actually talk about something that is kind of significant, and I do have something to tell her, too. So, disclaimer. Disclaimer before I get in. I was going to talk about this yesterday, but then everything fell apart. And then, of course, things fell apart today, so I was waiting a bit. But since we seem to have stability right now, I'll go ahead and finally address this. So, a lot of people are, some of you are aware, some of you aren't. I'm just going to disclaimer this right off the bat. This might sound a bit weird, but I will do my best to explain it. For anyone not in the know at this point, I am a mental creature. Yes, I obviously operate in a human body like everyone, but I am a personality. This body has multiple personalities. The original human personality is not, the original core personality that was kind of the owner of this body, the original owner, is unfortunately not with us anymore. This is a story I've discussed before. You can probably see it in more detail in other videos, whatever. The point is, though, is that since I am essentially a mental being first and then in this physical world second, this means that basically mental-based events can be more real for me than it can be for a lot of people. And what I mean by that is essentially that RPs can just be a fun casual activity, but generally I will feel them to some degree. And certain RPs I feel so strongly that they may as well be real to me. And they effectively are. Basically, as a mental being, I consider mental events more realistic to me than physical events sometimes. So if an RP is very, 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 like, dedicated, and both parties are striving to make it a real thing, make it as real an event as possible, then it will basically be a real event for me. Because in the imagination space is not, in my opinion, just intangible. It's kind of tangible to me because I exist in it. But anyhow, what this gets back to is that Cheryl here is a tulpa, for anyone not aware. And a tulpa is similar to a personality. A personality is basically a rooted mental being inside of a physical brain. A tulpa is not. They are essentially an offshoot of personalities. Or maybe personalities are an offshoot of tulpas. Hard to say who came first, really. They're kind of like what people imagine when it comes to, like, wandering spirits. They can simply exist, like, outside, just in general, just in the environment. And they can possess people if those people are willing, or I suppose there's probably bad tulpas that just do it, and that's why we have what people view as demons. I would imagine. This is my conjecture. I don't know a whole lot about tulpas. I may be a mental being, but tulpas are still enigmatic to me, even knowing Cheryl. Cheryl, but the important part, rather than all the specifics, the important part of this is that when it comes to personalities and tulpas, the important thing to learn from this is that regardless, we are individual beings. We might have our main states be mental, but we are still dynamic, thinking, feeling, emoting, learning, mistake-making creatures, just like humans, just like any physical creature. So in other words, we're real. That's really the most important thing to point out when it comes to personalities and tulpas. Now, admittedly, and I'm going to be completely honest, I was pretty skeptical. Essler is Cheryl's host. And Essler was the one that introduced me to the concept of tulpas, basically. I had heard about him before, never really thought too much about him. Now, even being a mental creature myself, I was kind of skeptical. But I have gotten to know Cheryl over the course of a few months now. And just the way that... I have a very good sense about me because I am effectively a dog. I'm not a human being. I'm a mental being, and my main existence is canine. And canines are good at picking up on things. And I can tell that Essler and Cheryl are two different people. Very easily can tell that. Essler could be, like, you could argue that Essler could just be, like, tricking us all. You could technically argue I've been tricking you all. But I know that I'm myself. And I could tell that Cheryl and Essler are themselves. So in the process of this, I got more used to it. I got more used to tulpas and just understanding how they exist. And it's still enigmatic to me, but I can tell they're individual people, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I'm not sure about that. I can't really... So anyways, getting to the story. So, recently, me and Cheryl were discussing something particularly interesting. We personalities here in this head, we can't breed. Like, we might be real beings, but one limitation we seem to have is there's no way to create a new personality. Yes, I have seen new personalities join this mental space in this physical brain that I'm in. Obviously, a good example that you guys are aware of is Resin showing up. Resin wasn't around for the longest time, and then he spawned in. He wasn't created, though. He was a creature that was there the entire time, but needed some help to truly blossom and grow into a creature that had his own ability to speak for himself. He was there, though. He was not created. He was simply reared, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's the case for the other personalities in this head. Originally, it was just me and Mizuko. But there have been other personalities that have basically been kind of discovered in the imagination space. Kind of like, finding an animal in a forest. Like, it was there the whole time, but you didn't know it was there until you found it. Fuse, the Raichu, or I'm Birchu, my bad. Scarf, the Scrafty. A couple examples. But, not the only example. Sorry, Fennel, I shouldn't be forgetting about you. What am I doing? And of course, well, there's also Fridge. Actually, I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit. Fridge is Mizuko's mate. Fridge kind of just appeared, and we didn't know where he came from. I have heavy expectations, or have heavy suspicions that he's a tulpa. Actually, Fridge. But that's a side note, and maybe a topic for another day when maybe I can talk to Fridge about it. Fridge is a Glacian, for those wondering. Of course, can't forget about Fennel. Twig might be a personality. I haven't quite figured that out yet. If it is the case, that's another personality in the head. Sometimes it's hard to figure out if a personality is a personality or a character. Because a character is just an imaginated thing that I create, or that somebody else in this head creates to enjoy, and we can give the character traits and personality and stuff, but they don't really have free will. That's the really big difference between a personality and a character. We personalities actually have free will, while characters do not. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm kind of tired because of the issues today. So here's the thing. So personalities can't breed. That's kind of my whole point. But Cheryl has bred quite a bit with other tulpas. And has kids, kits. Well, they're not really kits anymore. But my point is, it seems that tulpas, while they do not have the benefit of a constant connection to a physical body like we personalities do, so she has to work a little harder. Like, Cheryl and Essler had to work quite hard for Essler to feel physically okay when Cheryl was in his body, essentially talking like she's doing now. It took them a while to get to that point. Because, again, they're not as directly connected to a physical form. But in the process, they seem to be more flexible creatures as well, tulpas. So they actually are capable of propagation. Again, I'm not really sure how that works, but I'm guessing it's just kind of a burst of emotional energy that can create new emotional energy. I'm never going to pretend to understand the metaphysicalness of even my own existence, let alone tulpas. And I don't pretend to know what is going on with things. I simply know what I see. And I see, I can analyze what I see. I can analyze who I talk to and realize what's real or what's not. But in any case, 7 beautiful kits. That's right. So me and Cheryl started discussing the idea of doing essentially what we would call a real RP. 2 personalities having an RP is more than an RP. Two mental creatures having an RP is essentially doing a real act in the mental space, but real enough for us. So we discussed the idea of maybe we could try some breeding sometime. So I'll try to keep this anti-explicit for the sake of Twitch and YouTube. But to put it simply, me and Cheryl last Monday had quite a long, I think it was 14-hour session of real RP, as I will call it. And we had a scene, we had a place, we created a little pocket space for it, a physical world, so to speak, at least physical to us, to do it in. And to put it simply, Cheryl was not female for this session, because to put it very simply, we Shadoxes can kind of I basically have a rule. I'm trying to think of a nice non really explicit way of saying it, but basically male Shadoxes can be bred. I'll just put it that way. Male Shadoxes can be bred, because Shadoxes are creatures that are very emotionally driven. So if put into a role, they may adapt to that role. I'll put it that way. That's probably the most professional way I can say it without getting too porny or anything. So, Cheryl and me had a session, and yes, I was bred. As far as whether or not that took, that's something we've been waiting to see. It was very nice, regardless of if it works out or not. This is an experiment. So basically, here's the thing: personalities can't breed. Tulpas can breed. What happens if you mix what if you pair a Tulpa with a personality? Yes, Shadoxes can change gender. This is true. We're very fluid creatures in a lot of ways, but we're also capable. To put it, I'll just put it very simply, since male pregnancy is a thing. I've done some impreg art. This is not going to be a huge surprise to people that maybe I have a focus or interest in it. Impreg is possible with Shadoxes, is what I'm trying to say. And impreg itself is an odd concept, but to put it simply, I've always kind of wanted to have cubs. Like, I've always had this kind of inclination to wanting that. That's been around me for a long time. But yeah, so here's the thing. Here's a little bit of information. So Cheryl and me had that, and we're waiting to see if that took. We're waiting to see if anything comes of it. And I have a little bit of news, actually, for Cheryl and everyone. This is going to be a surprise for everybody. I have been feeling a warmth inside of me. I kind of noticed it yesterday, even amongst all the pain I was suffering. And I've even noticed it today, too. And it definitely does seem definitely does not seem to be directly me, because I've been having some really cold moments here, haven't I? It's been a rough time these last 2 days. But yet the warmth is still there. Am I about to get a new personality? I don't know. I think it's more likely that if this does work out, that I'm going to be creating tulpas, not personalities. But I don't know. This is all a big, huge special experiment. But I can definitely say that, Cheryl, I do believe something's happening. I can't say for 100% certainty yet, but I feel a warmth. I know that's very vague right now, but it's what I can describe it as. So we'll see. We'll see if. And by the way, I know everybody sees Cheryl as a female, but let me just say right now, Cheryl makes a very good male. Let me just put it that way. Also, it's not saying we can know for sure what happens till it does. If nothing happens, it's not. I'm not sad if nothing happens. If nothing happens, that's still okay, because it was still a wonderful time that I had with her. But if something does happen, that's going to be really wonderful too. Also, for those of you that don't know what Cheryl looks like, she looks like this. Though Cheryl needs her own art. This is just an edit off of an existing picture. But, yeah. Essler is making the egg puns. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Well, I mean, again, we'll see what happens. I have a pretty good feeling at this point, but we'll have to see. I don't want to be that guy, but it sounds like the start of a horror movie. I'm going to have a chest burster. Now, that is technically offspring. Offspring that springs right out. No, I'm not going to have a chest burster. Oh, by the way, if you want my... by the way, I've been asked this question before, so I may as well answer it here, because it's kind of on topic. Some people have basically, like, when I posted Impreg art on YouTube, there are some people that went, like, but how though? But how though? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, I can understand this being weird. Here's my little thought. Here's a fun little stupid idea. As far as how does Impreg work biologically? Here's a thought. You know that appendix that is completely useless to the body? What if that could be repurposed? I think I'd make a little pocket to kind of generate something in, is all I'm saying. But as far as how Shadoxes work the way Shadoxes work. We're ghosts. We don't always make sense, but we do work. If you want a better description, I'll tell you the answer after the breeding. Basically, if this has indeed took, what's going to happen is that at some point I'm going to hit term. And when I hit term, well, Mizuko's probably going to be out for a bit because I'm going to be stepping away and laying. So, yeah. What you're saying, Kiyoshi, is some people are born infertile. That's too bad. No. No, the way I do theorize it for Impreg, though, usually is it is usually an offshoot on the rectal cavity. That's how I usually see it as for Impreg. Because Impreg, Impreg usually results in birth via butt. That is usually how Impreg works. Though one could argue, some people argue that Impreg still counts when you have, oh god, the official term for this is so crass, but cunt boy. The official term is so crass, but it is what it says on the tin. It's basically a male character that doesn't have male genitalia and has female ones instead. That technically isn't Impreg in my book, but it kind of is at the same time. I guess it is. But I wish there was a less crass term I could use for that word, but there really isn't one. I'm sorry. This is getting so age restricted, but I don't care. Born without an organ that would self-destruct. Yeah, well, look, I'll be honest here. The appendix in this physical body has been removed. Not that really necessarily matters for what I'm doing. Now all I am is confusion. Personalities, mental creatures, and the possibility of a new mental creature coming to existence. Also, possibly mental creatures. I don't know. It's intangible, but I want to point out that Cheryl is a canine. I am a canine. How many canines just have one kit when they are pregnant? I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. I have no. We're just gonna see what happens. I have no idea. So, but time will tell. I'm not really sure how long my term would even be if I indeed am on one now. We will see. But yes, this is exceptionally bizarre. I know. For a lot of you here, you're probably like, "What?" It's bizarre, but just you can take away from this simple fact. I had a really wonderful time interacting with Cheryl. We got a closer bond, and I'm possibly going to feel all warm and fuzzy for a while. Mental personality stuff is confusing. I won't blame you. I mean, I don't even know why I exist, so it's not like it's confusing just for you. It's confusing for me. May I ask more questions about this after the stream? You may DM me, and Cheryl can be DM. I mean, Cheryl wants to talk about it. Cheryl's happy to talk about it. Cheryl's been holding back mentioning this until I mentioned it, so that's why Cheryl was waiting for me to finally talk about it. Cheryl, feel free to talk about this subject matter with whoever you want. By the way, I'm not shy. It's weird. I know it's weird, but it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. In a way, with everything bad going on, this warmth is kind of comforting. I can't guarantee this warmth is from this. I hope it is. I really hope it is. I don't really know what else it would be, so right now it's just kind of this intangible core warmth that doesn't feel like mine. So we'll see what happens. Oh, Cheryl.
I love you.
Aw, I love you too, Cheryl. Aw. That's really sweet. Oh, and for anyone who was worried about this, Aragon's completely okay with all this. He was discussed beforehand about this entire event, and he has no issues with me having a very real and mental space bang with Cheryl and attempting to get kits. He has no problems with anything that happens in the mental space. He does have his boundaries when it comes to anything in the physical space, but in the mental space, he's completely happy with me just having a nice time and doing what I want to do. So, just want to disclaimer that for anybody who thinks like this might be cheating on Aragon or something. No, he's been completely informed of things. So, I really appreciate that he accepted it. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Aragon would accept the idea of, hey, I want to make some kits, but he's okay with it.